Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mead Public Library in Sheboygan, Wisconsin's Monday and Thursday night ukulele classes. I'm Lil Rev. It's a pleasure to be with all of you tonight, and I know a lot of you are joining me from far and wide across North America and Europe, and so it's good to have you with us tonight. We have a fascinating subject that we're going to be studying this evening. We are going to be talking about the idea of what to play before a song begins and what to play when a song comes to an end. That is an interesting, fascinating history that spans over 100 years. And we're going to start this discussion tonight by talking a little bit about Tin Pan Alley, the early days of jazz, blues, and ragtime, when so many of these great intros and endings were given birth. And thus the Tin Pan Alley performer's hat tonight, as I'll be wearing in my Tin Pan Alley show next Wednesday at 7 o'clock from my Mark Robinson Facebook page. So thanks for tuning in. It's good to have you from Ontario, Canada tonight, and Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Welcome back again. Salt Lake City, welcome back again. It's good to have all of you guys with us once again. So intros and endings has been a fascination of mine since I was a teenager. Little things that I would remember other musicians playing. They'd come to the end of a song and they'd go. And I go, oh, what was that? How come everybody always does that in bluegrass music? I should probably learn that. And then I would go to the pubs some night and I'd hear the blues guys going. And I go, oh, that's cool. I hear all the blues guitarists do that. Maybe I should learn how to do that too. And what is that? Oh, it's a turnaround. So little by little, as the years went by, I guess I just started collecting all of these little musical nuggets that are kind of public domain. Every generation learns them, and we pass them from one generation on to the next. And yet, a lot of my students don't know what to do prior to starting a song, other than just strumming on the first chord. So that's typically what'll happen is people, whatever the first chord in the song is, they'll strum it and then they'll start singing. But there's this whole rich, deep repository of great intros to draw from. So why not dress it up a little bit and get that, that exciting sound that makes it sound a lot more sophisticated. And so our first intro tonight is going to be the Lil Rev all-purpose intro. Now, I'm guessing most of you grabbed your copies off the Google Drive, but the one that I'm looking at, it says the Lil Rev all-purpose intro. And it says key of C and key of F, key of F. So if you haven't made those copies, an easy way to get there, as I often say each time, is go to lilrev.com. Scroll down, click on Sheboygan U Club tab, and then you'll see a whole bunch of different classes listed there, and look for the intros and ending. Click on that, and there will be the music. We also posted at the top of the discussion thread in the header for the class. Okay, so if you don't have the music in front of you, I can teach it to you too. I am presuming a couple of things tonight. One, you know your basic first position chords up here, okay? That you know your major, seventh, and minor chords. And also that you're willing to move up the neck a little bit tonight with some movable chord forms, because boy, it's worth the effort. This is just great stuff, okay? So the Lil Rev all-purpose intro sounds like this. Okay, you take a breath, one chord of rest, and then you go into whatever song you wanted to sing. Okay, so that's how that one would sound. What did I do there? C, 2 strokes, C7, 2 strokes, F, 2 strokes, F minor, 2 strokes, and then C for a full measure, and then the G7. Now there's one of the defining factors of an intro. It'll end on what we call the 5 chord. So if we're in C and we go C, D, E, F, G is a 5 chord, in this case G7. Okay, the last chord will always be a 5 chord of what key you're in. Okay, so it sounds nice if you tremolo it, or if you just strike it, pause for a second, and then launch into your song. Okay, that's how that works. So let me demonstrate this, and then we'll try it together. Okay, so here it goes. I'm going to fancy it up a little bit too. Let's go out all night tonight. We won't miss a single sight. Let's go, babe, on our own, just having fun. Okay, so you see how that intro led into the song. I played the intro, and then I went right into the song. Okay, so let's try this together now. Here we go. C, 2 strokes, C7, 2 strokes, F, 2 strokes, F minor, 2 strokes, C, 4 strokes, and then G, 7. Okay, so now let's make that a little more musical. Let's try that all together now and try to get it to flow. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what song are you going to go into after that? That's what you need to be thinking here as you learn these tonight. You all know a lot of songs in C. Start thinking about what you play that might that might be a good one to hang upon, right? So maybe a little bit of 5 Foot 2 and Eyes of Blue, or maybe All of Me, or some kind of 20s or 30s Tin Pan Alley sort of song. What I demoed it with was a blues song, right? I went. 2, 3. Let's go out all night tonight, right? I did it with a blues song. But that's the homework you guys have to do. You have to find the songs that these intros and endings work for. Okay, so let's try it again. This is a Lil Rev all-purpose intro. C to C7, F to F minor, C for a measure, then G7. One more time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, in the old vaudeville days, an intro like that would often be followed with like a mug. The entertainer would mug a little bit. And so you would get sort of this facial expression that would draw the listener in. And so you get this kind of thing. Watch me now. Okay, so you got to ham it up and put on your best, ukulele attitude face that you can. Okay, all right. So now let's on that same page. There's one that's in the key of C. And that's in the key of F. I'm corrected here. So that's at the bottom of the same page. It says Lil Rev all-purpose intro and ending. So now we're going to be in F, and we're going to do the same progression. Okay? So we got F, F7, B flat minor, F, 2, 3, 4, C7. Okay? So those of you out there who know how to transpose, this is a great progression as an intro. And if you can transpose it into some of your favorite keys, then you can use it on anything, right? So let me show you how this would work with another song, okay? So it feels more real. Then we'll try it together, okay? So watch. see that evening sun go down. I hate to see that evening sun go down. You know, you've heard me do that song before, right? But again, this is the idea. You got to look through your repertoire and find the songs that these would work well with, commit them to memory, or write them at the top of your lead sheet if you use a music stand when you're entertaining, okay? Then you'll have that intro written right above the score. You know, just write the chord progression out, and then it'll always be there for you. A lot of my students like to go through their daily ukulele songbooks and take a pencil and write, anytime they find a song in the key of F, maybe they'd write that intro down, you know, F, F7, B flat minor, and then they'd have it amidst all those fun old 20s and 30s tunes, right? Okay, so let's try it again. Here we go, okay? All together now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what you would do then, again, I try to be repetitive so I don't lose anybody here. What you would do after that C7th is, you know, mug, pause, take a breath for a second, you know, and then go into the song right away. All right. So there is that little pause there that I often liken to being just like a quarter rest, you know, something like that. And then you go right into that song. Okay. That's part of the tradition. So one more time. Here we go. Lil Rev basic intro on the key of F. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then into or whatever you decide you're going to play, okay, after you play that intro. All right, let's go on to another one now. And this time in the source material for tonight, we're going to look at the Gus Kahn intro, the Gus Kahn intro. All right, Gus Kahn was a 1920s era songwriter, happened to be Al Jolson's favorite songwriter. And he wrote things like "Stars shining bright above you," right? "Dream a little dream of me," and all kinds of great stuff. Okay, so this is called the Gus Kahn intro, and he used this a lot to start off many of his songs. Tonight we're going to do it in just the key of G. It's there in the music if you want to learn it in other keys. And by the way, I should make note that whenever I'm teaching a class that is sourced from a book I have written on the subject, and you really are interested in this, you can go ahead and order the book so that you have it. All right. It's instruction with video, and it's a stellar book, and the graphics are great, and you know the chord grids are very, very legible. So you know you get stuff like this, okay? And so that's by Hal Leonard, Lil Rev, intros and endings. If you find this material worthy of really wanting to make a study of it, as I have, then there's a book available. Okay, so the Gus Kahn intro. What does it sound like? Here's what it sounds like. A breath, and then into the song you're going to do. Okay, so you got to think about that. So let's see here. Let's try that again. All right, 1 second here. That's what I was looking for. All right. So here we go. Try it again now. Okay, that sounds really nice. What could you do with that? You know, that's the question going through your mind once you would get these chords in your head. And what did we have there? We had G, 2 strokes, B flat 7, 2 strokes, D7 for a whole measure. Then we had G, C sharp diminished seventh, and then D7. So this may be not only a benefit that you know what to play before a song begins or when a song ends, but you may be learning a couple of new chords too. And so you have that added benefit this evening. All right. So let's try this together now. Here we go. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. And then D7. Okay. All right. So try that one more time. Won't you come home to baby? Won't you come home? He cried the whole night long. See how that works? So if you were doing this by yourself, it would dress it up and make the song look nice. If you're doing it with a group and you were leading this, or everyone agreed to play it at the same time, then you just count it off and you go 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Won't you come home to baby? And that's the kind of way that an intro would be tied into a song and delivered both solo and with others as well, doing it with you. Okay, isn't that cool? So the kind of songs, I had a little sheet here that I had listed some song examples. That's what I was fumbling around for when I like to do some of these. So with this one, Bill Bailey, like I did. There's an old jug band song that I sing a lot called Sadie Green. So I might go. Sadie Green was the vamp of New Orleans. Had more bows than the Navy has Marines. Okay. So you can see how these just really are classy little nuggets. They're just little gems that, nobody knows exactly where they came from or who invented them, but the good musicians and entertainers all use them. So why not add them to your song to just spice it up a little bit? All right. Some intros and endings are melodic and some are chordal in nature. And right now we're exploring the more chordal versions of these intros and endings. Okay, so let's do that one more time. Gus Kahn Intro, all together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. G2, B flat 7, 2, D7, 2. G, diminished, D7, a breath, and then into the song. Okay? All right, this time I'm not going to tell you the chord. Let's just do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so think of it this way. This is also a good opportunity to just commit some chord sequences to your, to muscle memory, to your brain. And once you get them, then they're there and you've got them, you've got them for life. You can always utilize them. All right. So each example in my book has got multiple keys and you can explore those, as you discover the ones that you like the most. All right. Tonight I'm just kind of doing a survey, and boy, if you get 1 or 2 out of this tonight that you really like to use, it's a real bonus because you'll have them forever. All right. So the next one we're going to look at now is called the Hawaiian Vamps, and let's talk about what a Hawaiian vamp is and how it might be used. This could be new to some of you and maybe not so new to others. And before we dive into this, I want to welcome Green Bay, Wisconsin. I want to welcome back Whidbey Island and Clearwater, Florida, Hollister, Massachusetts. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Coming to you from the little town of Sheboygan, Wisconsin, a little town on Lake Michigan with a great big heart and great big, lake sitting right next to it and a wonderful little downtown and a lot of green space, just a wonderful place to be. So You are all invited back as often as you like. Okay, so here we go. So Hawaiian vamps. If you listen to Hawaiian music, you're going to hear these constantly. A vamp is kind of like a blues turnaround to me, because it can serve as an intro. You can go, you know, when you hear that, most uke players go, oh, that sounds familiar. And then into the song. But Hawaiian music will often insert these little vamps in between the verses as they're singing. And that little sequence of 3 chords will lead them back into the next verse. Okay? So I'm not a big proponent of doing Hawaiian music so much as I love Hawaiian music. But what I've come to discover is that these simple little vamps work as introductions to songs, and they're just all-purpose practical little intros that could be used on just about anything. So this first one, which is D7, G7, C, okay, 2 strokes on each chord except for the last one. Okay, so you get, try that with me. D7, G7, C, 4 a measure, and D7, G7, C, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the sound of the Hawaiian vamp. How that would work with a song, you know, if you're using my approach to it, if you're doing Hawaiian, then you do the vamp and you go right into the song, and you could put it in after each verse. If you're adapting this to sort of what we might call Americana, you know, maybe I would do something like this. I'd go, ain't no tiptoeing through the tulips, ain't no tiptoeing around my heart. Baby, you done love me, I got blue lips, girl, big my blue, come on. Right, so I just use it as a simple little intro to it, whatever song I was doing in C. So do it with me now. D7, G7, C. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do it again. And 2, 3, 4. D7, G7, C. 2, 3, 4. And then into the song. The homework tonight is for you to find songs that you like to use these with. All right? And you can do this. Just open up your songbooks and find your favorite song in C. And then before you begin playing it, go. And you got a nice, sweet little intro, compliments of the Hawaiian music tradition. Okay? And so we're just adapting. If you have the benefit of being steeped in the Hawaiian repertoire, which is a beautiful, rich tradition, then you can use it lovingly in those kinds of songs. All right? So one last time now. Here we go. D7, G7, C. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then into the song you would go, right? Maybe I'd go. I hit pay dirt, sweet babe, baby. And I'd launch into whatever song I was going to do. That was the Pay Dirt Blues, that one. Okay? So I'm just trying to help you see that you can take these, and once you learn how to play them, insert them in with any type of a song. They're all purpose. All right? They're all purpose. Let's look at another example of these. I gave you 2 pages worth. And so if we were looking at F, let's look at one more. We have G7th, C7th, F. Okay, the sequence of this is 2, 5, 1. So you have the 2 chord, whatever the key is in, you know, the first chord is always going to be the 2. So if you're an F, G, right? So G, and then you'd have 5, okay? And that's going to be your C7th chord. So you got a 2, 5, 1 progression. And that's how it sounds in F. So if you take that formula, 2, 5, 1, you could figure it out in a lot of different keys and make it your own. All right, so let's try this now. Here we go. G7, C7, F. 2, 3, 4. I'm just playing it. I'm cycling it around and around and around so you can hear it. Okay. Really try this with anything. Calypso, reggae, you know, rock and roll. I don't know, you know, a lot of folksy stuff. It would work with all them John Prine songs you like to play. All right. So maybe I'd go. And then I would launch into my song, or in this case in F, I would go. Pay me, oh pay me my money down. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my money down. So a little calypso thing where, you know, whatever you decide you want to throw in there, that's the repeating phrase that I'm going to keep throwing at you tonight. Okay. All right. So let's go from the Hawaiian Vamps now to the shave and a haircut. Now we go from a chordal sort of introduction to a melodic ending. All right. A melodic ending. And so shave and a haircut, we're going to look at this in C and F. If you pull up that page that I share with everybody on the drive, you'll see it says shave and a haircut ending. And this one gets into melodic. So even if you're not a melody player, this is a very user-friendly ending to try out tonight, okay? Be adventurous if you've never played melody. And let me hold your hand and show you how to do this, okay? So here's what we're going to do. In C, we're going to put our ring finger down onto the 3rd fret of the A string. And we're going to strike that 1 time. Then we're going to drop our middle finger down to the 3rd fret of the E string. And we're going to strike it 2 times. So we got... Then we're going to hit the open A string. Good. And then we come back to the 3rd fret of the E string. And then we got about bum, bum, G7C, G7C, G7C. So we got, you try it. Okay. Yeah. Now, where would that work and how would you use that? Well, look at your repertoire. What songs do you have in C that you could throw a bump, ba-da-dum, bum, bum, bum into? Folk songs, country western songs, bluegrass songs, Dixieland songs, old-timey string band stuff, novelty music, western swing. You could probably even get away with a rockabilly, okay? All those styles make that ending user-friendly, okay? Again. So you get to the end of your song, take 1 breath and go. All right? So you get to the end of your song, maybe you mute or you take 1 breath and then and you throw that in there. But don't forget to take that breath at the end of the song, you know? That's the way a lot of people do that. That breath creates some, you know, creates a little bit of tension and suspense. And then all of a sudden you go right back into that. Okay. So that is your Shave and a Haircut in the key of C. And now we've got the key of F. We're going to look at Shave and a Haircut. And that sounds like this. All right, so how did I do that? One finger on the first fret of the E string, that's an F note. I strike it once. Then I go up to the C string. I strike it twice. Okay? Then I'm going to drop my middle finger down onto the second fret of the C string. That's a D note. Then I play it open. And then you have a bump bump, and that's a fast C7 to F. So you got okay. Try that again. 2, 3, 4. All right. So when you get to the end of that song in F, all right, then you got to throw that in there. Okay. All right, so that's the homework. Go to your strum books and find some songs in F that are country, maybe Hank Williams, or anything that has a kind of bluegrassy feel to it. Rolling in My Sweet Baby's Arms, Will the Circle Be Unbroken, gospel songs, any of that kind of stuff will work. Takes a Worried Man to sing worried songs. Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley. I don't know, whatever you want to tie it onto, that you can sing it in those keys. All right. So that was Shave and a Haircut. And that's a good one to know in every key. All right. Every key that you like to play in. All right. So now we have these Tim Panelli sort of intros. We have some bluegrassy ones. Now we're going to go on and we're going to look at the blues tradition. And we're going to look at the page that says Blues Turnaround Variations. Okay, is everybody looking at that one? Blues Turnaround Variations. All right. And so I'm going to do one of these for you tonight. All right. If you find that this is a redeeming subject matter and you like to explore it more, I do encourage you to consider purchasing this book. It's a great book, and it's available through halleonard.com or Amazon as well, video and lessons in the book. All right. So I'm going to play the easiest one here. And this happens with a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 kind of feel. That's your triplet, right? It's your, okay. A lot of cool classes coming up. I'm going to be teaching the fan stroke. All right. That's one of many great classes coming up and teaching all the way through the summer, every Monday and Thursday night. All right. And the subject matter really will determine the length. We say 6:30 to 7:30, but some of these subject matters will go the full hour and some of them might go a half hour, 45 minutes. It really just depends on what we're covering. Okay. So that triplet feel, which I was trying to demonstrate a variety of different ways, is in this phrase. And this is another melodic one. So if you're a strummer and you don't play melody, this will be a little more challenging for you, but I urge you to try. Okay. I'm going to use 2 fingers on this now. I'm going to use my thumb and my middle finger. My thumb is going to play the E string notes, and my middle finger is going to play the A string notes. Okay. And then I'm going to use a variety of fingers to play the last phrase. So this is what we get. Okay. We get. Okay. And then you'd go into That'll Be the Day That I Die, Buddy Holly. I don't know. You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, any of that kind of stuff. So let's try that slowly now. Okay. If you want to do it with just one finger, you could go. And what am I doing? Up here, I'm going 3, 2, 1, open. I'm just walking down. Ba 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 ba. Really easy. Anybody could do that, even if you've never played melody before. You just put one finger on the third fret of the E string, walk it down to the second, walk it down to the first, while picking the open A. Okay? Or, okay? So open is very easy. Okay, that's variation number 3. Variation number 2 would be, okay? So I think the easiest one is going to be variation number 3. That's the first one that I started with. Okay? If you're doing just one finger, so E string, A string, E string. So you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's a triplet. If you want to walk it down, and then you got and then that's where there'd be a little short breath, a rest, and then you'd go into the song. So turnarounds are the kind of thing where if you're not, if you are a melody player, it's a great thing to have in your, in your back pocket. If you are not a melody player, a turnaround is the sort of thing that when people are listening to you, they're like, whoa, that's cool. Look what they just did. It makes you feel like, seem like you really know what you're doing. When you can play that turnaround, it's like bonus, right? And then boom, you go right into your song. So let me give you a few examples of songs that might work with this, okay? Maybe I'd go. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Okay, so I like to put like a little pause in there. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. And on the song goes. Or here's variation number 4. Going to Kansas City, here I come. I'm going to Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little women there. I'm gonna give me one. Okay, so that became my intro, right? Sometimes you can use a blues turnaround like this as your intro to your song, but in some blues songs, you could play it after every verse. Like the Hawaiians use the turnaround. Hawaiians will go like that after every verse. The blues musicians will go. Okay, so these are another one of those things that if you can learn it in a lot of different keys, you're really doing something good for yourself, because it adds a lot of fun to playing rock and blues. Now, my intros and endings books has a lot of this in there, but also my 101 licks for ukulele book. That's another book on the market, 101 licks for ukulele, and it has tons of these kind of examples in there with audio soundtrack. Okay, so here's one more example. Okay, and then we'll try it together a few more times before we move on. All right, I'm so glad you guys are all with us tonight here in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Really is a pleasure. Mead Public Library, I'm constantly grateful to them. They've been keeping me working and keeping me busy. As most of you know, this is how I make my living. So like many musicians, I'm working for my tips, in this instance, teaching for my tips. Mead Library pays me a small stipend, and your tips make up the rest of what I would hope to make if I were out on the road. Okay, and so you have that information behind me, and it's most appreciated. So anyways, here's another example, as I said I would play for you. Watch this now, okay? Your ice cream man, babe, stop me when I'm passing by. I'm your Ice cream man, baby, stop when I'm passing by. See now all my flavor, guaranteed to satisfy. Usually come around just about 11 o'clock. Usually come around just about 11 o'clock. Well, if you let me cool you one time, you'll be my regular stop. Okay, or as that's how that's written, right? Up here. Some of these intros and endings I might be able to play in a dozen different ways. You know, there's so many variations that it's the subject of whole books. I mean, entire books. You know, go online and look up blues turnarounds, and there are whole books out there that study this legacy and this tradition. All right, so I could have went, ice cream man, baby, stop me when I'm passing by. Your ice cream man, baby, stop me when I'm passing by. Watch it now. All my flavors guaranteed to satisfy. And then into the next verse. Okay, so let's try this together real slowly. All right, okay, I'll play it a couple different ways for options. Just the thumb. Okay, okay. All right, and now two fingers. All right, so those are a lot of fun. Some of these are very movable, like the one in version number 4. You can play that same sequence anywhere up and down the neck. G, F, you know, C. All right, that same sequence of notes works as you move up and down the neck. You get a lot of mileage out of that. Okay, so that's what you call a movable turnaround lick. But look, if you learn just one of these, I got a kind-hearted woman, do anything in this world for me. Kind-hearted woman, do anything in this world for me. Must have studied evil, can't stand to leave me be. And then the next verse and the next verse. So you can see how those keep cycling round and round and round. All right? Boy, the time just flies by like it's just, you know, I mean, minutes turn into an hour like it's nothing. And I don't know. I just love teaching. I love sharing what I know with people. And I'm so delighted to have you guys with me. I know I keep saying that, but from the bottom of my heart, I get to sit in my kitchen and teach. You know, tonight, I don't know, 80 people are online with us right now, or 70 or 80 people, something like that, from all over the world. What a wonderful opportunity to connect with all of you. And I hope you're all staying healthy, making good decisions about, you know, just being out and whatnot. I want you all to stay healthy, okay? And so now we're going to go on to another aspect of tonight's class, and we're going to move on from the turns to one called the Bye Bye Blackbird intro. Bye Bye Blackbird. You really got to have the handouts for some of this stuff. Some of it you do. Others I can get away with teaching you orally, but for a few of these you got to have the chords in front of you, and it's helpful when they start to get jazzier or more complex. So the Bye Bye Blackbird intro is an all-purpose stock intro from the 1920s vaudeville and Broadway era. And this is a real specialty of mine. If you tune in next Wednesday on Mark Revens or Lil Rev Facebook, I'm going to be doing an hour to 70 minutes in costume like I am tonight, on the history of Tin Pan Alley, the industry, the sheet music industry, the entertainers, all kinds of stuff. That's next Wednesday night. I think that's the 13th, if I remember right, 7 o'clock. Okay, so I really love this era and its history. This is the same history I shared on the Mighty Uke documentary in New York when I was playing By the Light of the Silvery Moon from 1908. So I just have a real love for this kind of music. And the Bye Bye Blackbird was just something you'd hear all the time. You know, you'd think I lived through this era, right? But it's something, if you study the sheet music and listen to the recordings in which they were 78 RPMs, you discover these phrases that become hauntingly familiar when you keep hearing them amongst different bands and different entertainers and different songwriters. So when you hear me do this, your ear's gonna go, oh, I've heard that before. But where have you heard it? Where have you heard it before? And why does it seem like it's already like, oh, Susanna, or Yankee Doodle Dandy, or My Darling Clementine, or You Are My Sunshine, that we just are born and we know these melodies. They run through, our, proverbial, national psyche, right? As Americans, a lot of these feel that way to us. So listen to this, okay? Did you have that sort of aha feeling? Hold it. That sequence of chords sounds like something I've heard before. And that's because a lot of these have been used before. Believe it or not, cartoons, like listen to old Looney Tunes cartoons, like, the Roadrunner and all those classical cartoons, and you'll hear these intros and endings in there. They lead up to something about to happen. When something comes to a conclusion, you will hear these shaven haircut and all these kind of things in cartoons, right? So they made it into the movies, these little stock phrases. So again, here we go. Listen. Okay, and tonight I'm just doing one on this page, the Bye Bye Blackbird intro. If you like it, it's the same cycle, and there are a few other keys there. But so we have F chord, we have the F diminished seventh chord as our next chord, has 2 strokes on each one. And then we have G minor seventh, 1 stroke. And then we have a bar chord, which is B seventh. That's 1 finger on the 2nd fret, barred across with 1 finger on the 3rd fret of the C string. And you're just going bum, 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 bum. Okay, so watch that now. There, you take a quarter note rest right after that, and then you launch into your song like Bye Bye Blackbird, pack up all my care and woe, here I go, singing low Bye Bye Blackbird, right? Or whatever song you want to go into, right? So let's try it together now. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay, again. 2, 3, 4. F diminished 7th. Take that quarter note breath and then launch into your song when you're playing at the nursing home. Okay? Doing your Zoom concert these days for the nursing home. Okay? But sooner or later, we're going to get back to being able to hug each other again, And if you run into me, you better expect to be hugged for like 35, 40 minutes. They're not going to let go. Okay? Hugs are in short supply these days. And so you might not escape my grasp if you're a friend of mine and I see you out there on that American highway. All right, so here we go. 2, 3, 4. F, diminished, minor, and then B7 to C7. Bum, bum. You try it. Try it once on your own now. Okay? Give it a try. How does that feel? Now start thinking about what songs you know that would work with. Okay, what are the tunes? All right. Let me demonstrate one that comes to my mind here now. Okay. Cha-da, 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 jing, jing, jing. right? I even threw the Lil Rev ending in there, which was the opposite of the Lil Rev intro, right? And so there it was. I went into Jada. Doesn't have to be anything super fast. It could have been something like, ain't got a barrel of money, maybe we're ragged and funny. Okay, but you got to do the homework and find out what songs you'd like to add them to once you learn these sequences. And you can do it by writing them right on the scores in your songbook, the Bye Bye Blackbird intro, and then write F diminished seventh, G minor seventh, B7, C7 at the top of the page, and to remind you that, hey, I could be doing this intro that I learned. It wasn't just an hour I spent with Lil Rev. I'm actually going to use these things. Okay, I'm going to do like good musicians do, and just keep building up what they know and dressing up these songs so they sound classy, right? Okay, so let's try that one last time. Okay, Bye Bye Blackbird intro in F. There's 2 other keys there for you to play with. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try it again on your own. Oh, that's sounding good. You guys are getting it. Yeah. And guess what? Repetition is everything. So when you've done it 2 or 3 times, then it really starts to come alive. Don't be hard on yourself if there's a new chord and it's just, you're crashing and burning, right? Because that bum bum, if you never played bar chords, that's not easy. Bum bum, right? And that diminished chord, it's not easy. It's a 4-finger chord, and newbies struggle with that. But that diminished chord moves all the way up and down the neck, becomes other chords. So it's a good one to know. Same chord every 3 frets. Okay. So I'm going to be teaching a class coming up. If you see a class listed as a fan stroke, that's a triple strum class. And that fan stroke is great with these old intros. Watch. Well, doesn't that look cool? If I was sitting in the audience and someone went, I'd be like, what did they just do? If I was a ukaholic, I'd be like, oh my God, that was so cool. It was short and sweet. A little bit goes a long, long way. And so that was my teaser for my triplet class that'll be coming up. I don't remember what week it's going to be, but just watch the schedule. Okay. So that was the Bye Bye Blackbird intro. All right. Now we're going to go to the Bill Tapia intro. And we have just a couple of minutes. So this may be the last one for tonight, but there's plenty of things in the handouts to carry you on over, or my ruthless and shameless promotion. That's right. Intros, endings, turnarounds, and vamps. Hal Leonard, Lil Rev, Amazon or halleonard.com. By the way, next Monday at 2 o'clock Central Time, I'll be doing a beginner's class based on my interactive method book 1 for Hal Leonard, my publisher. Not through Mead, but through Hal Leonard's Facebook. Okay, so that'll be coming up as well. And that's a beginner intro concept. I'll be talking about tremolo, melody playing, and a few other things, basic strum hand. A lot of you are way beyond that now. Okay, but if you know a beginner, hook them up. Okay, it's on my on my website, and it's on my Facebook page. All right. So a Bill Tapia's intro. Here's another one that shows how classy and sophisticated intros can be. And Bill Tapia played till he was 103. I remember hanging out with him in New York City at the New York Uke Fest. And I was thinking, man, how do you get so lucky to be 103, and still out there looking cool as hell in his red suit, and just the epitome of hip. He was played at the Royal Hawaiian Palace in the late 20s. He was there playing ukulele when it was in its heyday. And so I fell in love with Bill Tapia. And this shows how sophisticated some of these intros can be. If you like Broadway, you got to be learning this stuff. If you like the American Songbook, Cole Porter, Irving Berlin, George Gershwin, you got to be learning this stuff. And this book is about way more than just that. Okay, so watch what happens. Bill Tapia's intro. Okay, that last chord can be a doozy. Okay, they're augmented. And remember, when you're playing an intro, it's just as fair game to do tremolo at the end as it is to just hold that chord and let it ring out. Take a breath and then launch into your song. Okay, so make note of that when you're talking about playing intros. Listen to it one more time, then we'll try it together. And then into whatever song you're going to play. Okay, so let's try that together now. We have 2 strokes on C, 2 strokes on A minor. All right, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then you have your diminished 7th chord, and that G7th you let ring out. Go back to the beginning. And then same thing again. And then you go to that G augmented. Okay, and that grid is right there on that page. 1 finger on 2nd fret of the A string, 2 on 3/3 in the middle strings, and your pinky onto the 4th fret of the G string. Okay, hello Virginia Beach. I look forward to coming back to Virginia and heading out to the East Coast when it seems reasonable to do that. But welcome, Virginia Beach. Okay, now all together. And okay, so I like that with those Tin Pan Alley things. Don't Fence Me In, you know, even the cowboy sort of ones. And these are things you can use with all that. All right. I Can't Give You Anything But Love, Baby. You know, there's just so many, there's thousands of them, right? It Had to Be You, All of Me, you know, On the Sunny Side of the Street. That's good stuff that this will work with. Okay. I'm going to do this one more time now. Okay. So we got, typically on these intros, most chords will have 2 strokes. Okay. So you know that's going to happen. And then there are variations by the ends of the 2nd measure and the end of the 4th measure. Okay. So here we go. And for my tremolo, I'm just taking my finger, I'm curling the tip, I'm using the tip, and I'm doing it over the fretboard. Okay, that's just one way to do tremolo. Okay. All right. So last time. Emphasize more of the downbeat on the G7th, and then you get, okay. All right, that's kind of cool sounding chord. All right. Well, this brings us to 2 minutes beyond, and so I think that's a good place to stop. You got a lot of extra homework tonight too, if you play through every page. All right, and you can find me on on YouTube as the Yiddish Euchre and our Lil Rev. Also lilrev.com, my website. And one last time, the Lil Rev Intros and Endings book. Please visit Mead Library. There's a lot to offer there by way of their database. There are a lot of resources there and a lot of things you can utilize. I know a lot of you don't live in Sheboygan, but you don't have to benefit from the Mead Library site. Join me next Wednesday night for my concert on Facebook Live, Mark Revinson and Lil Rev, for the story of Tin Pan Alley and song, story, and poetry. I'll be back on Monday and Thursday next week with more classes. And remember, finding the Google Drive, go to lilrev.com, scroll down, click on Sheboygan Youth Club. It'll take you right to the drive. Okay? Thank you all so much. And be safe, be healthy. I love you like a ukulele. We'll see you again.